Hello and welcome to the second lecture in the third module, definition in the online course Design Thinking for Engineers. So in this lecture, I'll be talking about the design definition tools of design thinking process. So defining tools. The first tool that you will be using is Microsoft Excel. Why? Because a very powerful software that was developed by Microsoft, and all the data can be analyzed in a proper manner. It has a lot of inbuilt tools, mathematical, statistical, probabilistic analysis can be done with Excel. நம்மளுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் எக்ஸல் வந்து ஏதோ டேபிளுக்காக ஏதோ ரெடி பண்ணுறோம், நம்ம வந்து ஏதோ சம்காக இல்லை ஏதாவது கிராஃப் ப்ளாட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக தான் நம்ம ரெடி பண்ணுறோம் அப்படின்னு நினச்சிட்ருக்கோம். People and major companies use Excel very extensively, and Excel is their almost only tool for financial analysis, budget planning and a lot of other features. So இதுக்காக and other process as well, and இதுக்காக வந்து Excel they use very extensively. You need to master Microsoft Excel. There are online courses for that as well, and Microsoft Excel is going to be the first tool that one will be using. Next, Make My Persona, developed by HubSpot. The Make My Persona excuse me, so Make My Persona இது என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, நான் வந்து உங்கள் போன சைடில் வந்து பர்சோனா அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு வார்த்தையை நான் விட்டுருப்பேன். பர்சோனா அப்படின்னு என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, பீப்புளை அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு அவனோட ஒரு ப்ரொஃபைலை பில்ட் பண்ணுறோம். பில்டிங் த ப்ரொஃபைல் ஆஃப் அ பர்சன் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் வாட் யூ ஹவ் அண்டர்ஸ்டுட் ஃப்ரம் த டேட்டா யூ எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்டட் ஃப்ரம் ஹிம். ஸோ அவங்ககிட்டே நீங்கள் டேட்டாவை எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணி அவனை பற்றி நீங்கள் ஒரு ப்ரொஃபைல் நீங்கள் ஒன்று க்ரியேட் பண்ண போகிறீங்க. இட்ஸ் கோயிங் டு பி அன் அன்பயாஸ்ட் ஒன். ஓகே, இட் கைட்ஸ் யூ த்ரூ several essential questions that covers most of the important aspects to build up your persona or the persona of the person you are interviewing. பற்றி ஞாபகம் இருக்குல்ல உங்களுக்கு, அந்த எப்படி பண்ணணும், பாடி லாங்குவேஜ் அண்ட் ஸ்டஃப் இன் தி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மாடியூல் ஐ டாட் யூ, ஐ கெஸ் first or second module. So அதெல்லாம் வந்து ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. So this is going to be a basic Make My Persona layout. You can see the name of the person, the age, the education, the social networks he has, the industry he works in, and the organization size, the mode of communication he prefers, and all the stuff. இது எல்லாமே வந்து அவனோட கோல் என்ன, அப்ஜெக்டிவ் என்ன, அவனோட சேலஞ்சஸ் என்ன, இதெல்லாம் வச்சுக்கிட்டு உங்களோட கேள்வி வந்து, அதாவது இங்கே வந்து இப்படி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ் டு ஜாப் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி இப்படி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. நீங்கள் வந்து உங்கள் கொஸ்டின்ஸை வந்து உங்களோட ப்ராப்ளமை ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுற மாதிரி நீங்கள் கொஸ்டின்ஸை கேட்கலாம். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி பில்டிங் அ பர்சோனா ஃபார் அ client or a customer. The next application is going to be UserForge, developed by the company itself, UserForge. And இதுக்காக வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா வந்து, இதுவும் ஒரு பர்சோனா டெவலப் பண்ணுறதுக்காக ஒரு டிசைன் சாஃப்ட்வேர் தான். இட்ஸ் டு ஃபாஸ்ட் கொலாபரேட்டிவ் அண்ட் ஃபாஸ்ட் டெசிஷன் மேக்கிங். UserForge வழியா நீங்கள் ஒரு 4 பேரை ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா, இஃப் இட்ஸ் கோயிங் டு பி அ டீம் ஆஃப் 4 people that you are working on a project, all the 4 persons can come together in this platform and share their personas. அவங்க இன்டர்வியூ பண்ண பீப்புளோட பர்சனாஸ்லாம் இங்கே வந்து இது பண்ணி டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ இட்ஸ் கோயிங் டு பி அ பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் வேர் யூ கேன் பில்ட் யுவர் ஓன் பர்சனாஸ் as well as compare, discuss and do all those stuffs in the same platform. So that's UserForge for you. So இதுதான் அவங்களோட வெப்சைட். நீங்கள் you can go and check it out. There are a lot of companies that use UserForge for design thinking process. And we'll have a short video of what a user persona is and how to develop a user persona. So listen to this, guys.
In this episode, what we're going to do is talk about user personas, what they are, why they're useful, and how you can use them in your UX process. So what we're going to do today is talk about user personas. I'm going to give you a very brief overview of what personas are and why they're useful, and then I'm going to draw one out and break down the individual components that make up a user persona. So first of all, let's start by defining what a user persona actually is. A user persona is essentially a representation of a particular audience segment for a product or a service that you're designing. Let's say that again. A user persona is a representation of a particular audience segment for a product or a service that you're designing. It allows you to create an example of the kind of person that might be using your product or your service, and lets you look at things like their frustrations, their motivations for using your product or service, and gives you a bit of an overview of who they are as an individual as well. Now, you can create user personas based on user research that you have about your audience, or you could create them based on your assumptions. As with anything in UX, it's always better to create stuff based off real research, but there's always situations where this isn't necessarily available, and in those situations, it's always better to try and create a persona based on your assumptions rather than not creating any personas at all. Because at the end of the day, if you're designing a product or a service, it's very likely that you do actually have a rough idea of the kinds of people that you're designing the product or service for, and the kinds of things that they're going to want out the product or service, or the kinds of things that they're going to be interested in as well. So let's go into a little bit more detail now about what information is actually contained within a user persona. Now, there's no right or wrong way to create personas, and you can include as little or as much information and different types of information as you want. It's all about what helps you create the most coherent picture of the person that's using your product or service. Now, a typical persona will contain things like demographic information, and this will be things like the person's name, the person's age, their income bracket, where they live, their gender, and you might even have a picture of who they look like or what you think they might look like. It will contain information about their goals for using your product or your service. Why do they need your product or service? How is it useful to them? And it will contain information about their motivations for using your product or service. So what kind of pain points do they want solved? And what are the reasons for using it? How is it going to make their lives better? You can also include information about their technical capability. So how comfortable they are using technology, mobile devices, tablets, how competent they are at using computers and IT in general, and this sometimes ties into their age. So generally, millennials or younger people are more competent at using technology than the older generation of people are. You could also include information about the kinds of brands that they like and other products or services that they like that might be similar to yours or that can help inspire you to create something that they're going to like. So what we're going to do now is draw out a very quick user persona, and I'm just going to break down the individual components of it. We're just going to talk very briefly about it, and this will give you a starting point for you to go away and actually start creating personas for yourself. Okay, so what I've done is go ahead and just draw out a very simple user persona. There's not loads of information in it, but there's enough to just give us a very broad picture of the kind of person that we're designing a product for. So in this instance, what I've done is I've created a persona for a task management app. Now, the person I've thought about is the kind of person that's going to make use of a task management app at work. Her name's Megan, she works in marketing, and she wants a task management app to help her schedule tasks better and help her improve her productivity. So, as I said, her name's Megan, she's 28. Her motivations for using the task management app are to manage her time better at work. Her goals, so this is the reason why she wants to use the task management app, is to be able to schedule and keep track of tasks. And I've also thought about her technical ability. So this is where she sits on the scale of how good she is at using technology. And because she's 28, she's quite young. I've said that she's proficient at using technology. She's a marketing manager, so she uses it a lot in her day-to-day work life. So she's going to be pretty good at using apps, using software, using different devices as well. And what I've also done is, well, it's not really a picture, but I've just shown there that you can also include a picture of the type of person that you think Megan might be, just for some visual reference as well. So what we've done today is just talked about what user personas are and how you can create one, and then I've just shown you how to create a very simple one. As I said before, there's no right or wrong way to do it, and you can include as little or as much information as you want within a user persona. It's whatever helps you build a detailed and coherent picture about the types of people that you're designing things for. So I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions or any comments, leave them on the video below. And remember, every week I put out a new UX video tutorial. So if you want my video updates, you've got to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.
So that was a really good video, I guess. He explained about how a user persona should be, and you would have noticed a contradictory statement on what he told. He would have told that assume a lot and don't approach the people directly. நம்ம வந்து I told you earlier that don't assume. So the contradiction here is very simple. அவர் வந்து சொன்னது வந்து he in a business aspect, so that you don't need to waste your time and resource in going behind people, analyzing the people. Whereas what we do is in design thinking process, நம்ம வந்து பீப்புளை ஸ்டடி பண்ணுறோம், பீப்புளோட நீட்ஸை தான் நம்ம சாட்டிஸ்ஃபை பண்ண போகிறோம், not assume something on our own and come up with solutions. So that is one contrasting thing. Overall the video is really informative on how to create a user persona for your client or customer. So that is the end of this lecture. In the next lecture we'll be again talking about the definition process in detail. And if you have any doubts, you can WhatsApp me in my number, or you can mail to designersconsortium@rajalakshmi.edu.in, or you can even drop a comment in YouTube, so that we'll respond within a hour or two. We are online all the time, so yeah. Thank you guys.